April 25, 2026, Naval Submarine Base, New London, Groton, Connecticut. The lines holding USS Idaho to the pier are cast off for the last time. She has been in the water since August 2024. 18 months of sea trials, crew qualification, every system tested, every tube cycled, every sensor calibrated against a threat environment that does not forgive mistakes. Now the commission pennant flies. She is a warship of the United States Navy, 7,800 tons, 377 feet of hull, a beam of 34 feet, one nuclear reactor that will never be refueled for the entire operational life of the vessel, meaning she can run at speed, submerged indefinitely. Her limits are not fuel, they are crew endurance and food. She is SN 799. She is the 26th Virginia-class nuclear-powered fast-attack submarine to enter service. And on the pier at Groton, the people who built her are watching the pennant go up. She is not the most dangerous thing in the pipeline. Acting Secretary of the Navy Hung Chow steps to the microphone. We are a maritime nation bordering on both the Atlantic and the Pacific. He is right. And the Navy that commissioned USS Idaho this afternoon has been commissioning submarines of this exact class for over 20 years without stopping. While the ceremony is happening in Groton, another hull, US Oklahoma, SSN 802, is sitting at General Dynamics Electric Boat with its pressure hull already complete. Behind Oklahoma, 2 additional hulls are funded at $11 billion in the FY 2026 budget. Those 2 carry something Idaho does not, a hypersonic weapon, fired from underwater before 2028. Russia's most advanced attack submarine is the Yasin-M. China's is the Type 09 IIB. In the entire combined inventory of both navies, the modern nuclear attack submarine fleet, every hull that represents their current generation sits below 25 boats. The Virginia-class pipeline alone will reach 44 hulls under contract. The race is not close, but understanding why requires understanding what 20 years of building the same class of submarine, improving it block by block, actually produces when the blocks start to stack, and what the final block carries. What Virginia actually is General Dynamics Electric Boat, Groton, Connecticut, the production line. The Virginia-class was designed in the 1990s to replace the Los Angeles-class fast-attack submarine. The Los Angeles boats were not bad submarines. They were the backbone of U.S. undersea operations for 3 decades, chasing Soviet boomers through the North Atlantic, running intelligence missions into denied waters, sitting off coastlines no official would ever confirm. But the Los Angeles class was built around a sonar system that had not fundamentally changed since 1960. A spherical main array. It looked forward. It had limits on speed. Because above certain knots, the bowsphere became useless against the noise of the water ahead of it. Detection range had a ceiling, and the world had moved. Virginia changed that from the first hull. The large aperture bow sonar is shaped like a horseshoe. It replaced the sphere entirely. Along both sides of the hull, wide aperture lightweight fiber optic arrays run from bow to stern, giving the submarine passive detection coverage in every direction simultaneously, not just forward, not just one bearing, every direction. Combined with a TB-29 thin-line towed array deployed behind the submarine at depth, Virginia can detect a threat at ranges the Los Angeles class could not approach. Then there is the propulsor. Traditional submarine propellers cavitate at speed. Cavitation creates noise. Noise creates a detection signature. The Virginia class replaced the propeller with a pump jet propulsor, a system developed originally for the Royal Navy's Swiftsure class submarines by BAE Systems. The pump jet pushes water through an internal duct rather than spinning exposed blades in open water. The result, dramatically reduced cavitation, dramatically reduced acoustic signature. No external propeller, no blade tips breaking the surface of the water, just the hum of a reactor and a hull that does not want to be found. The torpedo tubes moved too on the Los Angeles class. The tubes sat in the bow, where the sonar should be. Virginia relocated them amidships, angled outward through the hull. The bow was freed up entirely for sensors. Bigger sonar, better geometry, more detection. The weapon systems did not get weaker. They got out of the way of what matters more, finding the enemy before the enemy finds you. That is the Block 1 and Block 2 Virginia, already more capable than anything the Russians or Chinese were fielding when the program launched. But the Navy was not done, because the problem was not just detection, it was what you carry once you find the target. The Virginia Payload Module, Block 5. Every Virginia-class submarine commissioned from SSN 774 through SASN 801 carries 12 Tomahawk cruise missiles. 12. 2 vertical launch tubes in the bow section, each holding 6 Tomahawks. That is the strike capacity of the most advanced attack submarine in U.S. service for the first 2 decades of the Virginia program. The Block 5 boats will carry 40. The Virginia Payload Module is an 84-foot mid-body section inserted into the hull forward of the sail. 4 additional vertical launch tubes, each holding 7 Tomahawks. 28 additional missiles added to a submarine that already carried 12. Total, 40 Tomahawks per Block 5 hull. That is not a minor upgrade. That is a different class of weapon. Here is the number that explains why the VPM exists. The United States Navy currently operates 4 Ohio-class submarines converted from ballistic missile boats to cruise missile boats, designated SSGNs. Each Ohio-class SSGN carries 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles, 4 boats, a combined strike capacity of over 600 Tomahawks available from submarines alone. For 20 years, those 4 hulls have been the backbone of U.S. undersea strike capability. The submarines you call when you need to hit 150 targets simultaneously without putting an aircraft over the threat. All 4 Ohio-class SSGNs are retiring. USS Ohio, USS Michigan, USS Florida, USS Georgia. When they go, that strike capacity disappears unless something replaces it. 4 Block 5 Virginia boats at 40 Tomahawks each equals 160 missiles, not 154. 60. The retirement of the entire Ohio-class SSGN fleet is replaced and exceeded by 4 hulls that are harder to find, faster to deploy, and already in production. USS Oklahoma, SSN 802, is the first Block 5 hull. In December 2025, the major hull sections were joined into a single watertight pressure hull at Electric Boat. She is being built right now. She is coming. The enemy's move. Russia looked at Virginia and built the Yasin M. It is a capable submarine, longer displacement than Virginia. 10 vertical launch cells for P-800 Onyx cruise missiles and Caliber land attack missiles. Russian sources describe it as their answer to U.S. undersea dominance. The Yasin M has been in development since the early 1990s. The first hull, Severodvinsk, commissioned in 2014. The program has produced fewer than 10 hulls total across its entire production run. That is not a fleet. That is a statement of intent that ran into the same industrial-based problem the Virginia-class program understands well. China's answer is more aggressive. The Type 093B nuclear attack submarine is the People's Liberation Army Navy's current generation fast attack boat. The plan has not been quiet about its submarine expansion. Chinese submarines have been seen in the South China Sea, the Western Pacific, operating ranges that were not on their patrol charts a decade ago. The future Type 095 is under development. China understands that the underwater domain is where U.S. dominance is most established and most threatening to any plan that involves Taiwan. Both Russia and China have drawn the same conclusion from watching Virginia. They need quieter submarines. They need longer-range torpedoes. They need better anti-submarine warfare sensors to find what their radar cannot. They are spending money on all 3. The gap is not closing because Virginia is not standing still. It is changing again. The cost, what this program is costing, and the problem nobody is fixing. The FY 2026 President's budget allocated $11.078 billion for 2 Virginia-class submarines, USS Potomac, SSN 814, USS Norfolk, SSN 815, the first Block 6 hulls. The variant that will integrate the conventional prompt strike hypersonic weapon and next-generation acoustic stealth systems. $11 billion for 2 boats. That is the annual procurement bill, not the lifetime program cost, the annual bill. The submarine industrial base in the United States can currently produce Virginia-class submarines at approximately 1.3 hulls per year. The Navy's stated requirement is 2 per year. That gap between 1.3 and 2, it is not a rounding error. It is a structural deficit that has existed for years and that the budget has not solved. The FY 2026 budget included $130 million specifically designated for the submarine industrial base, construction spares, tooling, workforce development, schedule risk reduction. That money is an acknowledgement that the shipyards are not moving fast enough. General Dynamics Electric Boat in Groton, Huntington, Ingalls Industries, Newport News in Virginia, both yards, both constrained by the same workforce pipeline problem. Skilled submarine workers do not appear quickly, and the work is not the kind that tolerates corners being cut. Then AUKUS added a new pressure. In March 2023, the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia announced the AUKUS Trilateral Security Agreement. The headline was Australia acquiring nuclear-powered submarines. The operational reality is more complicated. The Royal Australian Navy will purchase 3 Virginia-class submarines as a stopgap measure to bridge the gap between retirement of their Collins-class diesel submarines and arrival of the future SSN AUKUS-class, the trilaterally developed boat that does not exist yet in production form. If the SSN AUKUS falls behind schedule, and new submarine programs have a history of falling behind schedule, Australia has the option to purchase 2 additional Virginia-class hulls, 5 Virginia-class submarines potentially going to the Royal Australian Navy, from a production line already running at 1.3 per year against a requirement of 2. The first planned SSNX procurement, the next-generation American attack submarine designed to succeed Virginia, has been delayed 5 years, originally scheduled for fiscal year 2035, pushed to fiscal year 2040. The reasons are budget pressure and a debate that has not been resolved about reactor design, specifically whether the next submarine uses highly enriched uranium or low-enriched uranium. That decision affects everything downstream: power output, hull size, refueling requirements, cost per unit. So the world's most capable attack submarine program is building the right boats, building them slower than the threat requires, committed to selling some of them to an ally. And the next generation replacement is 5 years further away than it was. That is what the commissioning photographs do not show. The number that ends the argument, minute 7. On July 25, 2025, 9 months before USS Idaho's commissioning ceremony in Groton, the USS Helena was decommissioned at Naval Submarine Base New London. She was a Los Angeles-class attack submarine, SSN 725, commissioned in 1987, 38 years of service. When she was struck from the Naval Register, the Virginia-class became the most numerous active submarine class in the world. Not the most numerous attack submarine class, the most numerous active submarine class in any Navy on the planet. Let that register against the competitive picture. Russian Yasin M total, fewer than 10 hulls commissioned in over 30 years of the program. Chinese Type 093B and predecessor nuclear attack submarines capable of sustained blue water operations estimated below 15 boats. Virginia-class 26 hulls commissioned and in active service, 8 additional hulls under construction simultaneously, 2 more just funded at $11 billion, 44 hulls under contract by the time Block 6 reaches full production, 1 class, 1 country, 1 unbroken production line running for over 2 decades. Rear Admiral Dave Goggins, the Navy's Program Executive Officer for Submarines, explained at the Naval Submarine League Annual Symposium what Block 6 actually means beyond the missile count. His words, Block 6 will focus on building upon the acoustic superiority advancements of SSN 790 USS South Dakota. The key thing is to enable organic subsea and seabed warfare capability for the first time. Organic subsea and seabed warfare, submarines that can operate against and monitor underwater infrastructure, undersea cables, sensor networks, other submarines at depth, without requiring surface ship support, without surfacing, without breaking the patrol. And then Block 6 gets the weapon, the conventional prompt strike hypersonic missile. The U.S. Navy intends to arm its submarines with undersea-launched hypersonic weapons before 2028. Not in a test program, in operational service. First look, first kill capability against time-critical targets, command centers, missile launchers, surface ships moving at speed, air defense radars, delivered from a hull running at depth that no sonar system currently deployed by Russia or China can reliably track. Steve Balistrieri, writing in the National Security Journal, summarized it directly. The arrival of undersea-launched hypersonics will ensure the Navy has a high-speed attack advantage. The Block 6 Virginia class will be the first attack submarine class certified to fire hypersonic weapons from submerged depth. USS Potomac and USS Norfolk, both funded in the FY 2026 budget, are those boats. They are being built right now. Resolution and forward threat, what 44 hulls actually means in the Indo-Pacific. Every Virginia-class submarine deployed to the Western Pacific is a problem the People's Liberation Army cannot solve with current anti-submarine warfare technology. The plan has invested heavily in the counter: maritime patrol aircraft, fixed seabed sensor arrays in the South China Sea, anti-submarine helicopters embarked on surface ships, acoustic surveillance networks designed to cover the approaches to Taiwan, and the first island chain. None of it is sufficient. Because Virginia was designed specifically to operate inside defended maritime spaces without being detected, its acoustic signature at operational depth and patrol speed sits below the threshold of the sensor systems built to find it. The lab's sonar detects before it is detected. The pump jet propulsor gives away less than the water displaced by the hull. A Block 5 Virginia carrying 40 Tomahawks can strike targets across the entire eastern Chinese coastline, Shanghai, Beijing's coastal infrastructure, naval bases, missile sites, without surfacing, without entering Chinese airspace, without a single radar return. The attack materializes from open ocean with no warning time between detection and impact. A Block 6 Virginia carrying the conventional prompt strike weapon reduces the problem further. CPS is a hypersonic glide vehicle. Strike time from launch to target measured in minutes, not hours. A Chinese mobile missile launcher that moves after satellite imagery captures its position has, with a CPS-armed submarine on patrol nearby, no realistic window to relocate before the weapon arrives. Command bunkers designed to survive conventional strike are a different calculation against a hypersonic penetrator launched from an undetected submarine position. AUKUS extends this reach without adding US-flagged hulls to the count. By the early 2030s, the Royal Australian Navy will be operating Virginia-class submarines from HMAS Stirling near Perth and potentially from Darwin, Australian ports, Australian crews after transition, but Virginia-class technology, Virginia-class sensors, Virginia-class weapons. Every submarine operating from HMAS Stirling extends the patrol area the United States can cover in the Indo-Pacific without requiring an additional U.S. hull on that station. The combined AUKUS undersea patrol footprint covers the South China Sea, the Philippine Sea, the approaches to the Strait of Malacca, and the waters southeast of Taiwan simultaneously, with submarines that China's anti-submarine warfare network was not designed to find. The submariner who stood on the pier at Naval Submarine Base New London on April 25, 2026, and watched the commission pennant raised on USS Idaho, joined a crew that will spend most of the next decade submerged. The reactor never needs refueling. The submarine's operational limits are the food in the stores and the endurance of the crew. A Virginia-class patrol can run for months without a port call. The submarine can be anywhere on the planet within weeks of leaving Groton. No one will know where it is. No Russian satellite pass will find it. No Chinese maritime surveillance network will track it. It will simply be there, carrying 40 Tomahawks or 40 hypersonic weapons, depending on which block rolled out of electric boat. Listening, tracking, ready. The Virginia-class program started in 1998. 28 years of continuous production, continuous improvement, continuous deployment later, it is the most numerous active submarine class in the world. It is about to triple its own strike capacity with the Virginia Payload Module, and it is 6 months from the first Block 6 contract for a hull that will carry undersea-launched hypersonic missiles. No other Navy has done this, not sequentially, not at this scale, not with this level of unbroken production continuity. Russia is building Yasen submarines, China is building Type 09 submarines, America commissioned its 26th Virginia class on a Friday afternoon in April. The race is not close.